Hello and welcome to Sarcastic Videos. Today we're talking about the Netflix original comedy special, Jo Koy, live from Seattle. Jo Koy is a comedian. He's half white, half Filipino, and uses that a lot in his stand-up as for the jokes, especially with his mom being a Filipino mom, and it's pretty funny. There's no skit to start it off like there usually is with the really popular comedians. They do that little skit to start off their set, but this one doesn't. Just goes right into the jokes, which are pretty funny. Like, he has a lot of energy, and he keeps the crowd laughing throughout the whole set. There's a little bit of a lag at the end, but and he calls the crowd out on it, which was pretty funny. But yeah, overall, it's very high energy, lots of laughs. He's got this. If you watch the trailer on Netflix, you can see the funny part where he makes fun of how women cry and how they like kind of laugh and cry at the same time and try to dry their tears by waving their hands in front of their face, which is pretty funny. His impression of that is hilarious. And he talks about being raised in a house with a white dad and Filipino mom, but they got divorced when he was young, so it's mostly about his mom and the different, I guess, stereotypes that a Filipino mom has, like how everything can be cured with Vicks Vapor Rub, even like pneumonia or whatever. And now his mom like basically all Filipino moms want their kids to be either nurses or mailmen, which was pretty funny. And the way he was talking to the crowd, who because he's a half Filipino comedian, there's a lot of Filipinos in the audience, so that was pretty funny too. He basically said that most of you are probably nurses, and the response kind of seemed like that was true. And then he talks a little bit about an uncle who's funny, trying to hide his Filipino accent, and then his kid. He has a kid who's 12, and he has a lot of jokes about that, which I'm sure are embarrassing for his son. But he talks about like his hygiene as a kid that's just getting into his teens, and how hard it is to tutor a kid that age because he's not smart enough to do it. But basically he pays the private school to do that, so they're failing at their job, even though they keep expecting him to do stuff with his kid at home. So that was pretty funny. But he also talks about how his mom would handle something like that, which is also hilarious. He also talks about his kid, starting to get to the age where he's masturbating, and how he remembers when that was happening when he was a kid, and how you thought he was so smart doing it with socks, but his mom caught him, and as a Filipino mom, she didn't just let it slide like most moms would. She actually called him out on it and was threatening to take all his socks away and stuff like that. He's pretty funny with his impressions of his mom and his sisters and even his son. Like, he's got some pretty dead-on impressions of a teenage boy. And, he talks about how, like, nowadays, like, the toys that he buys for his kids are also, or his kid is also, like, for himself too, like a hoverboard. He wanted to buy his kid a PS4 for Christmas, but he didn't want one, so he's so disappointed. And he talks about how it's different for Filipino women. When they get to 18, they kind of just move out. But with him, being a man, he didn't leave until he was 28, but he only left to the garage, and then he moved back in when he was 29. It was pretty funny. And he talks about growing up poor a little bit, not too much. He talks about his mom kind of being a little bit racist, but not too much. And he's got some jokes about women giving birth. He has some jokes about like witnessing that. Some jokes about overall just dating, being drunk, things like that. But he covers a lot of territory. A lot of the stand-up is about his family, and it's funny. It's really funny. You can actually feel like you're getting to know them as he jokes about them. And I'm sure his son is pretty embarrassed by the things he says, but there's a lot of laugh out loud moments, and it's definitely a recommended show. Never heard of him before, just saw him on Netflix, and yeah, it was pretty hilarious. So I would definitely recommend this as far as Netflix goes, because it uses the thumbs up, thumbs down system, giving it the thumbs up. And as far as a rating out of 10, I would give this an 8 out of 10. It's very watchable, and it is very funny. Lots of laugh out loud moments. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all of the above. Thank you, and have a nice day.